What is up, fellas? We are back for another UFC predictions video. This time for UFC 324, Pimblett versus Gaethje. Um, First fight card of 2026, fellas. First video I've posted in 6 weeks. This channel is dead. But we ended 2025. The last 4 cards of 2025, we went 82% on picks on average, which was a sick way to close out the year. And this is the first Paramount card. I'm looking forward to breaking it down with you fellas. Yeah, let's just jump right in. Pretty good card. Let's tap in. Kicking us off at welterweight, Ty Miller is taking on Adam Fugit. They have Ty Miller as a gigantic favorite here, fellas. Also, sorry if the audio quality is not very good. My microphone has been... I need to buy a new one. It's just kind of been fucked up lately. But Ty Miller, giant favorite, making his UFC debut on not a pay-per-view, but you know what I mean. Adam Fugit lost his last couple. Well, not his last couple, but you know, he arguably could have lost to Josh Quinlan, even though I picked him to beat Josh Quinlan as an underdog. Adam Fugit's kind of a weird case because I feel like he's actually not that bad. You know, when you look at his losses, you know, they're only to decent fighters, in my opinion. And trash or tier fighters, typically he beats. I don't know if I think Ty Miller is trash, but I think this line might be a little bit wide. I think Ty Miller's pretty good. He had a good performance on the Contender Series against Jimmy Drago. I think he can beat Adam Fugit here. I think he probably wins a decision. I don't see him finishing Fugit, even though Fugit's been TKO'd twice out of his last 5 fights. You know, Islam Dulatov is a beast, a very nasty, dangerous striker. And Michael Morales, I mean, he's pretty much either #1 contender fight or next in line for a title shot, and he just flattened Sean Brady. So yeah, you need to be a pretty powerful guy to TKO Adam Fugit, even though he's older. Fugit's got some decent striking, decent Muay Thai. He's a little bit slow. He can kind of work that veteran game plan a little bit, mix up the grappling a little bit. But I think I'm going to trust in the young guy in Ty Miller. I don't think he's going to shit his pants completely in his UFC debut. He could do, but I don't know if he does it against Adam Fugit. Fugit's all right. He could fraud check him here. But I do trust the skill set of Ty Miller here. I think he probably ends up winning a decision over Fugit. Maybe there's like a round where Fugit has some success, maybe in the 3rd or something. Seems like people kind of agree with a Miller decision. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking here. I'm thinking Ty Miller gets this one done by decision. Moving up to bantamweight, Ricky Turcios taking on Cameron Smotherman. This is a pretty easy one for me. Yeah, I kind of agree with the odds here. I'm going with Cameron Smotherman here. I think he's better than Ricky Turcios. Ricky Turcios is a guy who I don't rate too highly. He's got a lot of volume. He's very weird and spurgy with his grappling. His striking's pretty mid. And I question his durability. I don't think he's very durable. He gets dropped. And I've heard stories about him getting hurt bad in training and getting concussed a lot. I don't know how true that is, but that's stuff I've heard. You know, Bernardo Sopai lost that fight. Sopai's a beast, though. Raul Rosas subbed him easily. Kevin Natividad is a horrible fighter. Ayman Zahabi, he literally couldn't land a strike on him the entire fight. And Brady Highstand's a bum. Like, Cameron Smotherman's taking on Ricky Simón on very short notice and giving him a pretty tough fight. Like, I think Ricky Simón would knock out Ricky Turcios or slam him through the fucking octagon. Ricky Simón's a hard fight. And Sari City's a hard fight, too. Both of these guys are good hard fights. Jake Hadley's not a bad fighter. You beat Jake Hadley on short notice. I gotta go with Cameron Smotherman here, man. He took this fight against Simón on less than ideal circumstances, and Simon's a fringe-ranked guy. I think this is a step down for Cameron Smotherman. If he can compete well with Ricky Simón, Sari City, and Jake Hadley, I see no reason why he cannot beat Ricky Turcios. I honestly think he could potentially finish him, but Turcios is a very hard guy to finish. But part of me thinks he could. Nobody thinks that. Nobody thinks Smotherman can finish him. But I think he can hurt Ricky with a shot and maybe finish him with a ground and pound. I really do. It's just a weird vibe I'm getting. But yeah, regardless, I think Cameron Smotherman wins this fight. I think he's the younger guy. I think he's got less miles. I think he's got better durability at this point. Maybe the cardio could get checked, but if he's hanging with Simone, I think he can hang at least for 3 rounds with Tercios, maybe. Yeah, I'm going to go with Cameron Smotherman here. Moving up to heavyweight, Josh Hokett taking on Denzel Freeman. I've got some thoughts about this fight. I expect Hokett to be a pretty big favorite. Yeah. I don't see it right now. Denzel Freeman's kind of a guy who I feel like is competitive. You know, he's older. He didn't have the greatest debut of all time, whereas Hokett had an impressive debut with his KO and all that. Hokett was getting chewed up in this fight with low kicks specifically, and Denzel Freeman's actually a guy who I think has a pretty nice kicking game. I think his hands are all right. I think his striking is more technical than Hokett. I think Hokett has more power for sure. And I think both guys can wrestle a little bit. Hokett's definitely the more tenured wrestler, but he was a higher skilled wrestler at a much lower weight class when he was lean and not a big fat fuck. So it might even itself out a little bit. They might not get into the grappling, and it might just be a kickboxing affair. In which I don't know if I like Hokett as a minus 250 completely, being completely candid with you. I might lean on the side of just a little goofy underdog pick. Now, I do want to mention this. I think Hokett has more power. I think he's got more dog and will to win than Denzel Freeman. So I could see him winning easily. But Denzel Freeman, you see this giant reach advantage. I think he's got nice kicks. I saw Hokett taking bad leg kicks in this debut from a guy who I don't think is particularly that good. I might pick Denzel Freeman. Nobody's picking Denzel Freeman. Guys, I might be getting cute. Forgive me if I'm getting cute. I do think Hokett's pretty good. I think this is probably one of the best fighters he's come up against. I think Denzel Freeman needs to take it out of first gear, though. Against Merrick Bugillo, he couldn't get it out of first gear, and it was just kind of tit-for-tat striking, which he's better at. He needs to get out of first gear, and he needs to actually throw some offense to knock out a guy. But I'm going to be cute. I'm going to pick Denzel Freeman as an underdog. I don't think I'm going to pick too many underdogs on this card, so I'd like to pick one. I think Denzel Freeman's got a shot. His striking, I think, is more technical. He's got a reach advantage. His wrestling's probably not quite as good as Hokett's, but it's all right. Yeah, I'm going to go with Denzel Freeman. I think he wins a decision. I don't fucking know. Moving up to lightweight. Michael Johnson taking on Alex Hernandez. Yeah, I kind of agree. Both of these guys are on win streaks, but one win streak has impressed me a lot more than the other. I think I'm going with Alexander Hernandez here, just point blank, man. Like, knocking out Diego Ferreira is, even though Diego Ferreira is 40, that is not something almost anybody's ever been able to do. Diego Ferreira is a motherfucker. He's a beast, and Hernandez impressed me with this performance for sure. Chase Super knocked him out easy. Kurt Hollaba, interesting fight. Austin Hubbard is a tough son of a bitch, and his last loss was at featherweight. Granted, it was to Damon Jackson, but I don't want to read too much into it because it was at featherweight, and Hernandez is clearly a lightweight. Michael Johnson, on the other hand, Daniel Zellhuber, very good win. Azaitar's a bomb. Darius Flowers is a bomb. Diego Ferreira killed him. Mark Takahassi's actually not too bad, but this is a while ago. Like, Michael Johnson has looked good lately. His boxing is great. I think Hernandez is genuinely having a resurgence in his career right now. Whereas I see Hernandez, I see him getting better. And Michael Johnson, I don't feel like he's getting better. Granted, he's winning and he's beating decent fighters, decent-ish. He beat Daniel Zellhuber. The other two guys recently are schmucks. Maybe I'm reading too much into the Diego Ferreira win, but like, Diego Ferreira is a guy I rate highly. I think he's good. I think he's underrated. Maybe not so much now. He might start to look a little washed after getting KO'd, but I also think Alex Hernandez can mix it up a little bit. He's got a decent grappling game, nothing crazy. but I think he could be effective. Or at least I think he can keep Michael Johnson on his toes a little bit. And it's not like Michael Johnson's getting any younger. The guy's 40. I'm going to go with Alex Hernandez here. I think he TKOs Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson's obviously live to TKO Alexander Hernandez because it's not like Hernandez has the world's greatest chin. But the biggest problem with Hernandez for the longest time was that he cracks under pressure. He hasn't been doing that too much lately. He's been looking a lot more composed. His cardio's been looking better. He's been looking patient, and I think that's a good thing for him, honestly. I'm going to go with Alex Hernandez here. I think he can win this fight by TKO. It's a close fight because Michael Johnson obviously has elite boxing, and he's got good power as well. But I'm going to trust the younger guy who I think is actually kind of having a resurgence in his career. I'm going to go with Alexander Hernandez. This will be the fight that Alexander Hernandez gets knocked out in. Watch. Moving up to flyweight, this is a banger. Alex Perez taking on Charles Johnson. My favorite Twitter warrior, Charles Johnson. Once again, exact same line. I kind of agree with it too. I think Charles Johnson probably wins here against Alex Perez. Alex Perez is a good fighter. He's got good boxing. He's got good durability. He's got great cardio. But he just makes mistakes, man. A lot of the time he just makes mistakes. Like against Asu Amabayev, he was beating him clearly. Gets himself guillotined, basically. He had this fight in the bag, and he lost it himself. Tatsuro Taira, kind of a freak knee injury, but it was from a maneuver Taira did on his back, which was kind of impressive. Beat Nicolau. Nicolau doesn't have the greatest of chins, so he caught him with a good shot. Makayev, he was beating Makayev for a little bit, ended up losing, and then lost to Pantoja. There's no shame in that. Charles Johnson, on the other hand, has been the king of killing young prospects. Lonair Kavanaugh, absolute beast, ended up KOing him after he gassed himself out wrestling for no reason like a moron. Same thing with Joshua Van, caught him with a big shot. Lost to Ramazan Timarov. Timarov's a good fighter, but he was on steroids for this fight, so I can't read into that too much. Sumo Darji, this is a fight though where I watched and I'm like, unanimous decision in this fight is kind of funny to me. Because I was watching that as somebody who picked Charles Johnson, and I was like, fuck, we might have lost. I was like, fuck, we might have lost this one. Jake Hadley's all right. Charles Johnson's just a guy I trust more, which is crazy because Charles Johnson's been a guy who's let me down plenty of times. But he's got great cardio. He's got great striking. He's a huge guy for this division, man. He's got a big reach advantage. He's got a good height advantage. He's riding momentum. I think Lonair Kavanaugh is a better striker than Alex Perez any day of the fucking week. He might not have as much power as Perez. He might not be as durable as Perez. But I just can't trust Perez at this point, man. I have to trust Charles Johnson here. And Charles Johnson, I think at this point in his career, is taking his career in general a little bit more seriously than Perez. I mean, Perez has lost so many lately. And Charles Johnson, he has to be a little bit fired up, a little bit more motivated as well. Like, Perez is coming off of 2 losses, but Charles Johnson's watching a guy he knocked out in the 3rd round hold that fucking lightweight belt right now. And he just sent back another really, really, really talented prospect who I think probably will do well later on in his career. I got to go with Charles Johnson here, man. I just got to trust him. I think this is going to be a close fight. I think it's going to be a competitive fight. But I'm going to trust Charles Johnson here to probably squeak out a decision. And it seems like what people are thinking. Perez is live, though, dude. I think Perez is good. I think the line might be a little off. Oh, did not mean to do that. I meant to open that up in a new tab like this. Yeah, I think Charles Johnson should be maybe like minus 175, something like that. But I am picking him to win a decision. Moving up to light heavyweight. Fellas, can you give me one more chance? Can you give me one more chance? Nikita Krylov taking on Modestas Bukauskas. Guys, now if I see something crazy with this line, I'm gonna move a little different. Minus 150. Okay. Guys, would you give me permission to go mining one last time? One last time. Oh, I'm picking Nikita Krylov as an underdog. I don't care that we've been chinned twice on our last 2 fights. I don't give a fuck. Modestas Bukauskas is not on the level of the guys we've been fighting. I don't care. We're gonna out grapple Modestas Bukauskas. and we're going to strangle him. We're going to smash him with ground and pound. That's what's happening. Mark my words, if Nikita Krylov's chin is not complete dust that gets KO'd by a ghost punch, he will beat Modestas Bukauskas. He has to. He has to, man. Oh my God. When I look at Modestas Bukauskas, it's just like, Prachnio's a bum. Almost knocked him out, though. Sequeiria's an absolute schmuck bum. Nobody shit stain. Iwan Kutelaba is not good, and he arguably lost this fight. Paul Craig beat Krylov, but you know, if you're a good fighter if Paul Craig can beat you. You know what I mean? KO'd Paul Craig, and it's just like Dominic Reyes. You know, Nikita Krylov's coming off of almost a 3-year layoff, and he does exactly what I say. It scared me when I was breaking down this fight. Even when I picked Krylov, I'm scared he's just gonna walk into that counter left hand because his striking defense is a little bit hairy. But that counter left from Dominic Reyes puts out 9 out of 10 guys he hits, and the 10th guy being like Yuri Prohaska, who just fucking eats it and retards into range and knocks him out with a spinning elbow. And then Bogdan Guskov. I mean, we just saw Bogdan Guskov damn near flatline KO Jan Blachowicz, which is fucking insane. Because, I mean, Jan Blachowicz is a motherfucker to finish. But, you know, my thing is, Nikita Krylov said it himself. He said, I took this fight too soon. And I think he did. He's like, I was desperate to get active. I wanted activity. And I wasn't even really thinking about the fight. I just wanted to be active because it had been over 2 years since he'd competed. He's talked about being a little bit more locked in. And I think this is a much more approachable matchup because Modestas Bukauskas, Dominic Reyes, and Bogdan Guskov, these are knockout guys. If they beat you, they sleep you. You know what I'm saying? Bukauskas, not really the case. You know, Paul Craig, you know, he KO'd him with some elbows. With ground and pound. Sequeira, like, come on. And then we're looking at it, you know. And it's not like Bukauskas has got a chin like that either, man. Petrino KO'd him. Prachnio almost KO'd him with like a question mark kick inside the pocket. And I think Nikita Krylov has a distinct grappling advantage here, man. I've said that the last 3 fights he's had. He does have it. He just doesn't fucking use it. I don't know why. I'm hoping he does this time. If the chin holds up, I think Nikita Krylov can beat Modestas Bukauskas by finish. I think this is a step down for Krylov for sure. Even though Modestas is kind of on his way up, I think this is a step down comparatively right now. No one's picking Krylov. Guys, I gotta pick Krylov. I gotta. Krylov's winning inside the distance. He has to, or I'm gonna cry tears. Moving up to middleweight, Atiba Gaethje taking on Andre Pulaev, whatever. Gaethje is going to knock him out. Pulaev does not impress me too much. Nick Klein's a bum. He took CLD to a decision, which is honestly pretty impressive. But Pulaev's striking, it's good, but it's slow. And Gaethje is a fast twitch, patient, powerful son of a bitch, man. And he's also not 23. This guy's 40. I'm going with Gaethje. Pulaev's all right. He's got good kickboxing. He's not as good on the back foot. He does not like being backed up. He likes being at range. I think Gaethje is just going to stalk him and land a good shot and probably flatten Pulaev, to be honest. I don't know about minus 1,000. I think maybe like minus 400 tops for me on Gaethje because it's going to be a striking match. But I think he probably does win. And if he does win, I think he wins via a knockout for sure. I don't want to discredit Pulaev too much, but I could not care about this matchup. They need to give Gaethje, I think, a fringe, like, top 20 guy. Give Gaethje a CLD. Then we'll see. We'll see how good he is. Moving up to bantamweight, Umar Nurmagomedov taking on Davison Figueiredo. Minus 1,600 is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. Umar should win this fight, though. He's the younger guy. He's got all the talent in the world. Close fight with Merab. Good performance against Mario Batista. Being minus 1,600, though, I don't love. I think it's very disrespectful, even though I do think he wins this fight. Especially for a guy who I think in Umar kind of has a suspect chin. Just a little bit. You know, he got dropped bad by Mario Batista, and he got dropped bad by Bezcat Almacan, who is a powerful guy in his own right, to be fair. But, you know, it's just be a minus 2,000 when you've been dropped twice in your last 4 fights against a guy in Figueiredo who's got good power, who's got decent striking. I just think it's a little bit ridiculous, but, you know, you see the last name, so we got to make it minus 50 million. But he should win this fight. He's got a grappling advantage. I know Davidson's got good jiu-jitsu. It's not the same thing. On the feet, Umar Nurmagomedov is much faster. He's not quite as powerful as Figueiredo. He's got a better kicking game than Figueiredo. I think he can keep himself safe on the feet for sure, laying good shots on Figgy, who's, in my opinion, slowing down quite a bit at his current age. I think he can out-wrestle him. I don't think he gets caught in a submission by Figueiredo. I think Umar can win this fight, probably by decision, maybe submission. I could see that as well. But I'm going to go with Umar Nurmagomedov here. Yeah, probably by decision. I think Figgy's a pretty hard guy to finish, but, you know, Umar could do it. He's very talented. This might be the best fight on the card. Moving up to featherweight, Arnold Allen taking on Gene Silva. It pains me to say it. I'm a big Arnold Allen enjoyer, fellas, but I'm going with Gene Silva here. After taping this fight, I don't trust Arnold's chin very much. And if I can't trust your chin against Gene Silva, I fear you might get sent into oblivion. Gene Silva coming off of a loss to Diego Lopez, which we picked. By the way, we predicted those. But Gene Silva's a nasty striker, and he's so powerful and fast switch. And Arnold Allen's a good fundamental guy. He's good everywhere. He doesn't really have any weaknesses, but he doesn't particularly excel on the feet. I don't think he excels in the grappling. So I don't think he's going to have his way with Gene Silva on the feet. I don't think he can just completely destroy him in the grappling. I think he's going to be stuck there on the feet with Gene Silva for a little bit. And, you know, he might be having success, you know, being the bigger, slightly more rangy guy, Allen. It says he has 1 inch in reach, but when they're getting the cage, I suspect Arnold Allen's going to look much bigger and longer. He might be getting the better of Gene Silva for a little bit, but I think when these guys land on each other, I think the reaction is going to be different, right? Like, when we look at this fight against Movsar Evloev, he got wobbled bad by Evloev in this fight. And Evolov's not a guy he hasn't finished anybody in the UFC. I just don't love it. Giga Chikadze, decent win, but Giga's looking washed. Max Holloway, competitive fight-ish, got hurt bad at the end of this fight. Calvin Kattar blew out his leg and finished Dan Hooker at featherweight. You know what I mean? I just don't love these finishes. But when I look at Gene Silva, I mean, he pretty much, he diddled Bryce Mitchell. He was just trolling Bryce Mitchell, man. He was getting, that second round, he was getting some nasty shots off on Diego Lopez. But Diego Lopez he might beat Volk, honestly, next week. Bagdasaryan's a good striker. KOing him, I do think is impressive. Bagdasaryan's a hard guy to finish. I mean, he fucking beat the shit out of Drew Dober. Only guy to ever KO Charles Jourdain in the UFC. Like, he's just got power, and he's so fast twitch, and he throws with so much aggression. And I just don't trust Arnold Allen's chin that much, and I don't trust him to grapple. I don't think the grappling will be that much of an advantage if he uses it. I just think if Gene walks into something, he might get wobbled a little bit, but I think he'd be fine. If Arnold Allen walks into something, I don't think he's fine. I hate to say it to you. I would love Arnold Allen to win, but I got to go with Gene Silva inside the distance, probably by TKO. Moving up to women's flyweight, Natalia Silva taking on Rose Namajunas. Guys, I'm going with Natalia Silva. She's next up for the belt. Rose Namajunas is great. I just don't think she can handle the footwork of Natalia Silva. I don't think anybody can. Her footwork's just on another level. Her kicking game is elite. She's very hard to find. Beat Alexa Grasso, former champ. Jessica Andrade beat her easily. Her Wujo, Andrea Lee. I mean, she's got a decent resume, man, and she's young. She's elusive. Her footwork is the best in this division. I think she's next up. Rose Namajunas has looked all right, but Miranda Maverick, this decision didn't impress me. Lost to Blanchfield. Beat Tracy Cortez, who I don't think is that good. Amanda Ribas is all right, but now we're looking at 2 years ago. Close fight with Manon Fiorot, which I think has aged very well. I think Fiorot's really good. But Fiorot's kind of she crashes India. You know what I mean? Natalia Silva kind of avoids you and pokes and prods at you. She's in, she's out, she's side to side. She's very hard to track down. Her grappling defense is solid. Her boxing's getting better. I think she beats Rose Namajunas by decision. I would be so impressed if Rose wins this fight. Yeah, it seems like most people agree. There's really not much to break down. It's just I think the footwork's just going to keep her a step ahead of Rose, and she can do it for 3 rounds easily. I think she's next up for the belt for sure. Moving up to heavyweight, Waldo Cortez Acosta taking on Derek Lewis. Waldo coming off of a pretty impressive couple of wins here. KO'd Shamil, KO'd Ante Delija in the weirdest fight of all time. And his only loss is to Sergey Pavlovich. We kind of thought Sergey Pavlovich was washed when he didn't knock out Acosta, but turns out Acosta's not too bad, honestly. You know, he's impressed me, even though he robbed Sergey Spivak. I gotta go with Waldo here. I think this fight's a little bit closer than than people think. You know, Waldo's got a good chin, but no, you could have the best chin in the world. Unless you're Blagoy Ivanov, if Derek Lewis lands clean, you're going to fucking sleep. It doesn't really matter. I think Waldo Cortez Acosta is just going to be much faster with his jab, with his straight punches. And I think that's going to be the story of this fight. I don't know if Waldo's going to take too many chances. He can trust his chin a little bit, though. He can trust it a little bit, because if you can trust it against Pav, you can trust it a little bit against Derek as well. I think he's just going to land straight punches on Derek Lewis. I think he's a faster guy. I think he's more conditioned. I could see this fight going a little longer, but I think Waldo Cortez Acosta wins by TKO, but I think it comes in like round 2 or 3, actually. I think the first round he might be trying to feel it out just a little bit, just to let Derek Lewis kind of expend some of that fast twitch, some of that cardio that he does have, and he could probably snipe him with 1-2 with straight punches, set up that big straight punch from his rear hand, kind of similar to how we knocked out Shamil. Yeah, I'm going with Waldo Cortez Acosta here. I hope Derek Lewis wins, though, just for the vibes. And moving up to the co-main event banger fight at bantamweight, Sean O'Malley taking on Song Yadong. Guys, I'm going with Sean O'Malley. What's the line here? -210? Yes, fair enough. I think Song Yadong is a really good fighter. I think he's the definition of a well-rounded fighter in this division. His grappling solid, his striking solid, cardio solid, power solid. He's just a good fighter. I just think Sean O'Malley is I think this fight's going to take place on the feet. Maybe Yadong mixes up the grappling a little bit. He does, in my opinion, have the more well-rounded grappling. But I think on the feet here, I think Sean O'Malley is going to be a little bit too elusive. I think his straight punches are going to be hard for Song Yadong. And one thing with Song Yadong that I've noticed watching tape is he really kind of lunges in and he really kind of leaps into his power shots. And I think that's a problem because Sean O'Malley is really great at making reads on the feet. He's really good at timing knees. He's really good at timing shots on guys who overextend. Just ask Aljamain Sterling, you know what I mean? You don't want to overextend against this guy because he'll find a shot and he'll pop you with it. And you might not even see it coming. That's my big weakness here for Song Yadong. Granted, Song Yadong makes up for this weakness by having one of, if not the best chins in this division. I mean, this guy is durable as fuck. So I think this probably goes to a decision. I think this is going to be a pretty competitive fight. There might even be a moment where, you know, Yadong lands a big shot on O'Malley and maybe wobbles him a little bit because Song Yadong hits hard, and I think he definitely has a durability advantage here. But I think over 3 rounds, I think it's going to be hard to consistently win minutes against Sean O'Malley. He needs big moments, I feel like, to win this fight, and I don't know if he's going to have enough of them to secure himself a decision here. I just think Sean O'Malley's the cleaner striker. I think majority of the time this takes place on the feet. Although Song Yadong has good grappling, he's not Merab. So yeah, I'm going to lean Sean O'Malley here. I think he probably wins a decision here. I think 29-28. I could see Song Yadong picking up a round for sure, especially if he can crack O'Malley with a big shot or get him down for a couple of minutes. But I'm trusting Sean. I don't think he's I think he's still motivated. I don't think he's washed or anything like that. I mean, he beat Peter Yan, you know, Aljo, destroyed Cheeto Vera, you know, and he's only ever lost to Merab. I'm going to trust O'Malley here to win a decision. It seems like a lot of people are thinking that as well. And closing out the card for the UFC Interim Lightweight Championship, Justin Gaethje taking on Paddy Pimblett. Interesting matchup. Okay. Line, I understand it. Um, there's really two ways this is gonna go. This is gonna be 5 rounds. Um, if Patty doesn't impose his grappling, which I think he will do, I think he's the better grappler. If this fight hits the mat, I could see this fight being straight up over. Patty's got elite jiu-jitsu. He's got a great jiu-jitsu system. He's great off the back. He's got great chokes from mount as well. He can arm triangle. He can do all of it. Yeah, he's more of a choke guy. He has limb locks as well, like arm bars. He could do some cute leg shit. I don't think he goes for that though. I think he definitely goes for a rear naked choke or maybe an arm triangle if he's on top. Maybe even a guillotine. But yeah, Paddy Pimblett has a distinct grappling advantage here. Justin Gaethje, he's got okay takedown defense. You know, he has a little bit of a wrestling pedigree. And Paddy Pimblett, his grappling is good, but his wrestling is a little bit worse than his jiu-jitsu. But he's got his ways of getting guys to the ground. But I think the biggest advantage in this fight, period, is the grappling on the mat here. And I think Paddy has that advantage. I think that's why he's such a big favorite. On the feet, this is the interesting thing, right? It's tricky. I think Paddy Pimblett actually can have success on the feet here against Justin Gaethje because, in my opinion, I think Gaethje's durability might be starting to wane just a little bit. I think Paddy Pimblett has a better kicking game. I know Justin Gaethje has really good low kicks, really devastating low kicks, but Paddy's really good at throwing like front kicks, high kicks from pretty far out. And I don't think Justin Gaethje is going to want to crash in this specific matchup too much. He doesn't want to get too close because if Paddy gets a body lock, he could trip him. And if he does that, that could be the end of the fight. So I think he's going to be a little bit, not tentative, but he's like, I don't want to be completely reckless here because if I end up on my ass, it's worst case scenario. Obviously, Justin Gaethje could win. I think he can knock out Paddy Pimblett. I know Paddy's shown a great chin, but I mean, it's Justin Gaethje. You don't want to take too many shots clean from this guy, especially in a 5-rounder. He will fucking chin you. But I have not loved, I did not love his performance against Fiziev. He got taken down and controlled by Rafael Fiziev. Granted, he wasn't expecting the shot from Fiziev, I guarantee it. But I don't love the look. Got KO'd by Max Holloway. Brutally. Got his nose broken. Dustin Poirier, we're looking at old fights now. I mean, this is a long time ago, right? Fiziev again in a close fight, and then Oliveira. I think this fight plays out a little bit closer to this Oliveira matchup. Granted, it's an old fight as well. I think Paddy Pimblett can land on Justin Gaethje, and I do think his durability's waned just a hair. And I'm not saying Paddy Pimblett's gonna drop him with something, but he's got tricky high kicks, man. I think he could put something up there on Justin Gaethje, kind of like in a kicking range, if Gaethje isn't completely crashed in. And it might not drop him or anything, but it might kind of, he stung him a little bit. And I think that can be the opening he needs to get Gaethje down to the mat. And if that happens, I don't see a way Paddy Pimblett doesn't submit Justin Gaethje. I think his jiu-jitsu defense is horrible, quite frankly. Unless he does something way out of character and has elite grappling defense out of absolutely nowhere, which he could do. Sometimes weird things happen. Or Paddy just does something stupid and walks into just like a giant counter hook or that nice uppercut that Justin Gaethje likes to throw inside like the clinch. I just feel like I have to trust Paddy's grappling here over Justin Gaethje. I was really impressed by this performance against Michael Chandler. I know people like to meme Michael Chandler, but like Michael Chandler got smashed like I've never seen him get smashed before. Like Michael Chandler makes it, even when he loses, he makes it close. He made it close with Gaethje. He made it close with Dustin Poirier, right? He chinned Dan Hooker. He chinned Tony Ferguson. Fuck. I just reminded myself of that. Fuck, I hate that. He almost chinned Oliveira. He almost finished Oliveira in the 5th round of their second fight. Paddy Pimblett went out there and no-diffed him, just destroyed him. And Chandler's a strong motherfucker. I think Chandler's a harder guy to get down than Justin Gaethje. I think Justin Gaethje's a better striker than Chandler, though, especially this version of Chandler. I gotta trust Paddy. I just think he wins by submission. I think he wins by submission kind of in the earlier rounds, maybe like rounds 2 or 3. I think round 1 he's going to be a little bit tentative just because it's fucking Justin Gaethje and he's going to try and kill you. I'm going to go with Paddy Pimblett. I just think he wins by submission. That seems like people agree. Justin Gaethje could win, though. And I want Paddy Pimblett to win just because I kind of want to see Topuria versus Paddy. I think the press conference would be really funny. But yeah, that's it for this one, guys. We have another big card next week, and I'll do predictions for that as well. Hopefully we do good on picks, and I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.